Welcome back to another episode of Private Parts with me, Liv Bentley.
And me, Tom Lucy. This is the podcast where nothing is off limits. This week we have a very special guest, a real legend of comedy. Do you feel like you've reached legend status in comedy?
That's dead or old. So which of those are you? Either of those.
Okay, he's a comedian. He's the host of the award-winning...
Just doing currently
doing
at
well.
his high point of his career.
The host of Evil Genius podcast, author and actor, it says here apparently.
Yeah.
It's the amazing Russell Kane.
I'll tell you about the acting bit in a minute.
You tell us about the acting.
We can kick off with it if you want.
Yeah, go on then. Why do you not see yourself as an actor?
It's something I always wanted to do. Most comedians are good actors. You have to be to tell a story on stage and then become the man or the woman or the dad or the child in the story. So very few comedians are poor actors.
Yeah.
The only ones that can't act are, like one-liner comedians that just do jokes.
Yeah.
So it's something I always wanted to explore. But with stand-up, once you hit a hot streak, you run with where the work is. Mm-hmm. And I'm still like a hamster wheel on that streak. I'm stuck at the... oh, isn't it exciting what's coming next phase?
Yeah.
I should be now sat in a red chair on BBC One, series 42 of Kane's Couch, but I'm not. It's exciting. Next year, I'm stuck at that stage.
What's Kane's Couch? Is that
some
a porn base?
It's just some chat show thing, yeah. There's some like chat show thing, but I'm not.
Yeah.
So I've never got to explore the acting. So two things. This year I'm doing a Shakespeare workshop because it's something I always wanted to do, so I probably will do Shakespeare in the next year. Watch this space. But
what is in a play?
Yeah,
you do a Shakespeare play.
My vision is with a really good Shakespeare company, not on my own, to be an older Romeo, because I think you could do a satirical comment on the housing crisis. And Romeo and Juliet, in case you don't know, is about two houses where the mum and dad ruin it by hating each other. Mm-hmm. And I thought, how funny if it's someone living at home with like an 80-year-old parents, they still fucking hate each other and the kids still haven't moved out. Anyway, so before that, the other thing I would like to do is play a wrong-un or a gangster or a nasty fucking... You put the fucking gear in the bag or I'll cut your face, you cunt, that type thing.
That was actually quite...
So I was absolutely adamant. So I cynically, about 6 or 7 years ago...
killed someone.
Put a play... fucking took some gear across the border into Gibraltar. No, I put a play on in Edinburgh about a gangster.
I remember this.
Yeah.
I think I came to see it.
And I was tied to a chair, and the curtain opens, and all the audience I pretend are victims or friends of the people that I've fucking done in. Yeah. And I run through this 60-minute monologue. It was a black comedy, and I thought, right, that will show all the casting directors and the people at Edinburgh that I can't just write and perform. I can also act. Yeah. Anyway, Noel Clarke came to see me, who makes... Didn't he make Adulthood and some? He's made great gangstery films. Came to see me, ran backstage afterwards to say you were actually fucking terrifying. I didn't know you could act like that. I'm going to put you in my next film. This was a Friday night. I've called my manager. Oh my God, I'm going to be in the next film. Finally, I'm outside of like camp, effete, male. I'm going to play a fucking wrong and make my family proud. Got a call on Monday morning, no casting, straight into this film, Scottish Muscle. Guess what the part was? Gay Glaswegian jeweller. A non-binary gay Glaswegian. And my first line was, can I interest you in a pearl necklace at all? So even when I played a serial killing gangster, I was then cast as a gay...
Yeah.
So,
do you not think it's quite hard for stand-ups though when they do acting, because they either play themselves in things, which happens all the time, because the general public don't. I think they find it quite hard to see that person
in the
as
UK,
anyone else.
But not in the US.
In America, isn't it? Yeah.
Chris Rock. The more we get to know Chris Rock, the more films he does. Yeah. The more successful and the more known a stand-up comedian is the US, the more you will see them in movies. Yeah. But over here, it's the complete reverse. Bizarre. So I do like doing the sort of naturalistic acting as myself. I've got a project in development at the moment based around that. But I would love to get my teeth into a character part. Well, I did. I was a gay Glaswegian jeweller called Willie.
Do you think if you were to do like a play, like you said you want to do a Shakespeare play, do you think doing that every night, the same thing, you'd get bored of? Because with stand-up, you can kind of just go off and do what you want.
If I didn't know...
you'd feel trapped in that?
If I didn't know as much about theatre as I did, I'd probably say yes. Yeah. I've done several plays. I took my own play to the RSC. And yes, okay, it's like I said, if I said to you, here's your stand-up set, and there's no improvising, you've got to stick to that, it would still be completely different every night. It always is how the jokes are received, different stuff happens. It is the same with a play. Yeah. If you know what you're doing.
You were just saying before we started, we were talking about when you've made jokes about people and then you've bumped into them in real life.
Well,
and you said you got the train down. Was it today?
I got the train down today, and Deputy Prime Minister was on the train. Angela Rayner. And of course, I'm going to stand up. I'm going to do stand up about the Prime Minister and all his team. Yeah. And I've just recently did one about Keir Starmer taking the heating away from pensioners. Go, give me your heating, you Brexit voting old cunt. And it went a bit viral. Then I had Angela in the back going, fucking take a radiator off, Keir. You fucking all dried up fucking Brexit bitch. And I sat into my chair and I couldn't move. And I was like, and she was behind me. She was behind me looking at my screen. So I was on websites going, is everything okay on the Rwandan border? And I better check the Guardian headlines. Whereas really, I want to be watching like traitors, Googling myself, porn if there's no one behind me.
Have you ever done any material about Made in Chelsea?
Made in Chelsea.
You must have done some stuff about Made in Chelsea.
I did more. I worked on the Geordie Shore show. They had like a switchover thing. So I have done stand-up about that lot. Not that I'm suggesting there's any connection in the formats whatsoever. Completely distinct and original ideas. No, but I've given Spencer and Jamie quite a lot to their face.
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah, because they
How do they take it?
There was posh people, isn't there? Like, if I look, I'm being stabbed.
Everyone loves taking the piss out of posh people.
No, they can just, look, I'm being stabbed. Banter. It doesn't matter. Just everything, nothing hurts because feelings.
You're right. I think there's anything you could say to those two that would actually.
It's because the feelings are removed in boarding school early on, so you can basically say whatever you want. Hey, look, someone's calling me a twat. Absolute classic. No, it is. Posh people
they are so sad.
They're so easy to take the piss out of.
But they do laugh. They laugh at themselves because it's. The more, basically, the posh you are, the more sort of English you are, really, unless you're a posh Scottish person, but you know what I mean. I think one of the central traits of being British is being able to laugh at yourself. Yeah. I mean, me and Lindsay the other night, we were in and we watched a Stuart Lee stand-up and he does a 10-minute routine about me. Yeah. It goes on, and we were crying, laughing. I found it hilarious. Yeah. I pride myself on being able to do that.
Yeah.
Do
you think posher people are easier to take? Or not, I mean, not easier to take the piss out of, but they will be less offended by having the piss taken out of them.
Because I am making stereotypes now, but it's broadly true. There's more. If you do go to a school where you bored from fucking 7 or 8 years old, you're going to have emotional resilience that is off the charts. So some dickhead that looks like Nick Grimshaw making a joke about you on a panel show. It's going to banter lord in the building. Banter Duke of Banterdom, absolute banter spray. I'm covered in it. It's true though, isn't it?
It is.
Do you know what Stuart Lee's?
What was the Stuart? Because I remember he did. I remember his bit about Russell. Russell Howard.
He goes, "Why is there so many Russells now? Like, there's so many of them. It's so fucking irritating." And he goes, "Well, my wife went to see this Russell Kane one." And she said the show was really, really good and it was really funny. And then at the end, he did a moving speech and everyone was crying. And there's a pause and he went, "Well, that means he's shit then." Yeah. Why are you crying at the end of a comedy show? He's shit. And it just goes on and on and on.
It's so funny.
But I find if you can't take a joke, there's something you see a truth in what that person said that's problematic to you. Yeah. In which case you should address it.
Yeah.
That's so true, actually. I've never thought about that.
If someone's saying to me, I sound like I fucking sell jelly deals and I'm a scumbag, it's true. That is my accent. There's no amount of degrees or money is going to change the fact that I'm a peasant. Yeah. By birth.
Savage.
No, I'm sociologically bilingual. Do you know what I mean? I go to the Maldives, but I sound like I work at the market stall.
So listen, you were telling us before you're in the middle of this massive tour. Yeah, a 2-year tour. Yeah, and you've also just released a children's book as well.
Indeed. It's called Pet Select Tut Tut Tut, and it's about So I was on a call. A children's publisher asked for a meeting with me. It's not something I pursued, but I've got my daughter's 9, so they're always looking for that next kids book. But I refuse to join in with writing fiction for kids because I'm not having a pop at anyone, but so many people are doing it.
I was going to say, I was going to say, it does feel like a real, in the last 5 years, not every, but a lot of celebrities are bringing out children's books.
Exactly. And
what is that book off the back of David Walliams doing really well, and
basically
people think they can make
everyone's looking for a gangster granny or a boy wizard. Yeah. And I just thought, with non-fiction, you're not going to attract that criticism because you're writing about a subject you're passionate about and you know. So it's not a cash-in, it's either factually engaging or it isn't. So I had a meeting with all these different ideas, and they liked a lot of the ideas, but they noticed I had a cat on my lap during the Zoom meeting, and I was like, "This is Terry's a Burmese cat," and I was bringing.
Do you normally do Zoom meetings with a cat on your lap?
Depends how many millions I'm demanding, Mr. Bond. And I was doing the voice. She was going, "Is that Burmese cat?" 'Cause Burmese cats are like dogs. They fetch. You can throw them over your shoulder and be silly with them. And I was bringing it to life and making these publishers laugh on this meeting. She was like, there isn't a cat and dog breed guide for children that's funny.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm a nerd. I know every cat breed, every dog breed. Like, I'm really knowledgeable on them. I fucking love animals. I've had stick insects, mice, rats, birds. I've fucking owned everything you can think of. So she said, write us a test chapter on the pug. Yeah. So I went away and wrote, have you got a mate who likes to fart on a couch and can't be asked to go out walking? Didn't write asked, obviously. And they loved it. So that I wrote Pet Selector thinking it would be niche.
Yeah.
It's been very, very successful. If you were going to get your next pet and you were like, what should we get? And the kids wanted to join in, they would get Pet Selector and go, this is what a Chihuahua's like, Daddy. And you can read a funny description of a Chihuahua or a Dalmatian, or if it was a cat, a Burmese cat or a whatever.
What sort of animal do you think you are?
Some sort of terrier, I would have thought. Yeah. Or a monkey.
Yeah, terrier or a monkey.
Yeah. But yeah, it's for non-fiction. I mean, once you go into non-fiction and then reference, you're in a tiny niche market.
Yeah.
So I won all the sort of charts I can win in my sub charts on Amazon, and then I even was up really high in overall children's books. I mean, I was into 30 or 40, and you're up against everyone.
Yeah.
David Williams, Michael Morpurgo. So.
And what about the live shows that you said you were doing some shows in front of children?
Yeah, it started as a book tour.
Yeah.
So you're going to go to a primary school, you stand up, you read from the book, and you take some children's questions. So I just thought, that's a fucking piece of piss. I've got an 8, 9-year-old. I know how their brains work. So it's not scary once you speak the language, as it were. And I turned up and he was like, right, your 60-minute slot is from 10... As a comic, Tom, if you hear 60 minutes and you're like, what? I'm going to read Chihuahua and take... I thought it was 15 minutes and someone would be interviewing me on stage like this setup. And it wasn't. So I just thought, I was like, fuck.
Did to fill 60 minutes?
What the fuck do you do for 60 minutes?
I tried to think about stand-up I've done about animals and just take the swearing out. Does it still work? And it does.
That's great.
It really works. You just be a bit more physical with it. Like,
I would imagine that actually that your kind of stand-up is probably quite appealing to children because you are like
physical.
You're very like sort of quite slapstick and animated, and if you took the swearing out of it, I think it would actually be.
So I've got a routine that I did on my first live at the Apollo, and I didn't change anything in it except one swear word, and it worked perfectly for children. Yeah. About when we got a new kitten when I was little, my brother was even littler. So my brother's about 4 and I was 7. And we got a new kitten, and my dad was like, like knuckle dragging silverback Essex. Say the wrong thing, like, country's gone to the dogs with a poppadom in one hand and a BNP manifesto in the other. One of them. I'll tell you what's wrong with this country. More mint sauce, please, Abdul. Immigration is one of them. Anyway, but you either know how to speak to children or you don't, and he would always say the wrong thing and make me and my brother cry. And we were around the Christmas tree, and this kitten bit through the Christmas tree lights, and there was and it exploded, and the cat ran off into the garden and just out through the cat flap after it got this electric shock. Now the cat was fine, but we didn't know that at this point. So my brothers looked to my dad going, and looked at him for reassurance, and my dad said, they always run off to die. Always. That's a fact of nature. They run off and find a place to die. And my brother was like, Christmas morning. So the kids laugh the same way as adults. Like, look, you only need 3 or 4 of those and you've got 30 minutes.
The stuff that you do about your dad makes me laugh so much. I took my dad to watch you, I think, at the Edinburgh Festival a few years ago, because his dad is exactly the same as the way you talk about your dad. And I've never seen my dad laugh so much at a comedian.
It was just emotion.
When you talk about your dad.
There's a certain generation of men, and the date of birth goes... I mean, some of them were born in the 60s. It's more recent than you would think. Yeah. They're just emotionally illiterate.
Yeah.
They just weren't taught it. They don't know how to speak to women, to children. They just weren't taught the language.
Yeah. It's so funny. Have you got a lot of stuff in your new show about your dad, or do you feel like you've sort of mined that? It's
because obviously my dad was deceased 2003, so it's like going down into the mine. There's not much, just scraping off the last stories. So what I do now is I go through photo albums to look for extra bits.
Very funny.
But I've done so much now, I can sort of revisit old stories and remix them or whatever.
Is that the same? So like every time you go to Plymouth, will you have the same stuff about Plymouth that you'll do, or is it sort of different?
Depends. It depends. Plymouth's probably a bad example because there's not such a strong Plymouth
identity.
Thing. So I tell you, AI, right?
But you said you were doing Guildford this week. Guildford, I would think, is quite a good place to do stuff.
Well, not really, because what's the main first stereotype about Guildford that jumps into your head?
Fuck knows.
Exactly.
But do you not feel...
No, if I said to you I'm going to Essex, what's it like? Oh, thick, fake tits. But I'm going to Wales, sheepshagger. If you've not got stereotypes to play with...
Yeah, fuck, actually, what would...
But could you not just do play the posh card?
Yeah, well, I will do all of that. But what I've discovered is this AI, which everyone's terrified of, can't write jokes, if only it fucking could. But what it can do is, you say to ChatGTP, I'm playing Guildford tonight. Give me 10 things that everyone in Guildford will know if I refer to them that are happening right now. Could be a roundabout, could be a building block, could be something that was in the local newspaper. They list 10 things. I then go to people that work at the theatre. Have you heard about this? I've never heard of that. And then I know it's not a thing. It's AI's made a mistake.
Yeah.
But if he goes, yes, that fucking everyone, no one can get home from work, I'll start speaking about that and improvise and see where it leads.
That's so funny.
Clever, actually.
Yeah, Russell. Honestly, you should go and see Russell do stand-up.
I really want to. Should we go to Guildford?
Well, we could go to Guildford.
I've got a second Guildford date if you can't make this one.
I actually really
Is Guildford because I've done.
Why is that where you live, near Guildford?
No, but it's near enough.
It is quite near. I grew up in Guildford and I've done that G Live quite a few times, and I've heard comedians say it is one of the roughest gigs.
Really?
Wait,
because
what?
it's like a big soulless sort of leisure centre, isn't it?
Roughest as in...
Not as in rough,
dramaturgically
as in
rough.
one of the worst gigs of the tour, because the audiences are quite dry and it's a really big, soulless room.
What the more and more stand-up I do, the more I realise the shape of the room and the space and how you're sat is more important than where you are. So I could go on to prisoners or I could go on to posh landowners. It would be the same in an excellent theatre.
Yeah.
Different material, different vibe, but the same response. Whereas you can go on to an amazing bunch of people in a shit room and they'll feel self-conscious and not laugh.
So do you...
Would you ever... Oh, sorry.
No,
I was going to say, would you ever not actually do one if it was a shit location?
No.
You would still do it?
Yeah.
Do you sound check... do you do a sound check before your show?
No.
So the first time you've seen the room is when you walk
because
on.
my tour manager is able to stand in for me.
Yeah.
So if I can get an extra, because I've still got a young child, I maximise the amount of time I've got at home.
Yeah.
Or say on a day like today, if I was touring later, I still would have said yes to this time slot. So we're speaking at 6:15.
Yeah.
If I was playing Guildford tonight, I would have still done this, and I probably still would have taken this time slot.
Yeah.
Because I don't need to be there till 7:45.
Yeah.
Just to go to my support act, welcome to the stage from the side.
Which was you a few years ago.
Which I did a couple of, quite a few.
Once your tour manager knows the sound and lights you want, he's the proxy that stands in for you. So
it's funny, isn't it? Because there are a lot of comedians who want to know like every detail about the room before the audience come in. They want to know like where all the fire exit
But is that a
lights
nervous
are
thing, or you just want to...
I don't know what it is.
But my tour manager will give me all of that.
Yeah.
He'll go, this and this. You've got someone sat there, you've got a 17-year-old 4 rows back. You think you can see him, but you can't.
Yeah.
So when you get someone that's 17 or 18, that's excellent because that's easy prey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, sorry, that sounded like
Prey.
Russell. I sounded
Such a strong word.
I sounded like a different Russell then.
Yeah.
So what are the Palladium? London is normally the hardest gig because it's full of people that have got too much. Like, if I can entertain me, Jester.
Yeah.
But the Palladium's such a fucking amazing room.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's great. You can't do any local stuff because everyone's travelled in. There's nothing to talk about in London. But
so what are your things? Because I've always thought that the older the venue, the better it's going to be.
Possibly, yeah.
Is that something that you've noticed?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a brand new sort of like bespoke entertainment place.
Well, they can be great. There's a new theatre that's just opened in Sunderland.
Yeah.
And it was an old fire station, but because it's been done by people who understand theatre, it's just been done beautifully.
Yeah.
The problem are these sort of town halls and corn exchanges.
Yeah.
Basically, with theatre, what you don't want is a long rectangle and a high stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
But particularly with my style, very combative, it comes across aggressive rather than energetic. What's your name? Where you fucking from?
Turns into like a
drive,
rally.
drive, Terry. I got the Rolex. Sorry, that'd be triggering for you, Liv. Sorry. No, we've been done 3 times now. I've stopped buying jewellery.
So what are the gigs on the tour that you're looking forward to the most? Where are you playing in London?
Well, I've got a bit of a Palladium.
Doing the Palladium, great.
I've got. I don't do 2 nights at the Palladium purely because I like playing all the towns around.
Yeah.
You can't really do your Guildfords and your Watfords if you're doing the like 5 Palladiums.
Yeah.
So I like doing lots of shows because the show improves. And you can actually do more business. If you take your ego out and do a more modest London gig and just do 1 Palladium.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm doing 3 nights at Cliffs Pavilion,
Yeah.
the South End.
That's a great
Now,
gig,
those people would normally travel into London to watch an
Yeah.
O2 show or something like that.
Yeah.
But, 3 1600s in South End.
I would think that in Essex you have a big live audience though, right?
Yeah.
Because you've got so much stuff about Essex.
Yeah. It sells well all over Essex and in the northwest now because my wife's from Manchester.
So funny. Yeah, so you live in Cheshire, right? How long have you lived up in Cheshire?
But since 2017.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, when my daughter was born, we tried it, but I don't know if you know any Northerners, but they, I knew someone from Enfield, and
Not even that. No, I'm joking.
Crouch End I went to once. It was, it was ghastly. I could smell Finsbury Park. No. I went, if you have a baby and you're living in London, unless you're incredibly lucky, you haven't got hundreds of family members letting themselves in wanting to help you out so you can still go on date nights and shit like that. But you do get that up north. Uncles, aunts, cousins. So mine and Lindsay's romantic life, relatively speaking, has been unaffected. There's always someone to help and it's guilt-free.
I remember you saying to me once about the fact that you think the fact that this job means you're away from your partner quite a lot is good for the relationship.
It can be, yeah. If
I remember you saying that
you
to
miss
me.
each other a lot.
Yeah, you're not like on top of each other all the time.
No, I am when I'm home.
Yeah.
I should have bought some.
Hey, Greg
Jomo.
Wallace. Greg Wallace, that's just a cock. Grow up. Well, I know what I'm going to put in your meringue. My balls. Stop being so sensitive, you old slag. Bye, Greg. Bye. What's wrong? Women's the problem. Menopausal old fucking whores. Greg, shut up. Your mic's on.
Is Lindsay still? Are you and Lindsay still at that stage where being away is good for the relationship, or is she?
But it's much
she
better.
growing tired of you being on tour all the
But when
time?
that's the other thing about being in the middle of the country when you're touring. I'm away more for stuff like this.
Yeah.
Everything's in
I
London.
guess most nights you can get back home afterwards.
Because you're in Manchester.
Yeah.
You do put it into Google Maps, Glasgow, 3 hours, London, 3 hours, Cardiff, 3 hours. I'm back in my own bed by 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Up by, say, 10 a.m.
Yeah.
A bit of exercise. I might even see Minna, my daughter, before I leave. So
Yeah.
you do get runs. Like this week, wherever I'm playing, it's something like Hastings, Guildford or Watford. I think they're the 3 this week.
Yeah.
And yes, I will stay over, obviously.
Yeah.
The other thing I love doing as a stand-up, I love playing internationally.
Yeah.
But not going like trying to do New York and the ego trips that everyone else do. I like going to places where comedy has not gone and trying to do a small gig for the thrill of it and then taking my whole family and getting a holiday. So I played Bermuda last February.
That's amazing.
And this February, so we're recording this in January, so in a couple of weeks' time, I'm the first British comedian to play the Cayman Islands.
Bloody
No
hell.
way. Amazing.
I'll visit some of your money when I'm there.
Yeah.
And,
Bring it back.
yeah, exactly.
What venue are
That's
you?
quite amazing.
What venue are you playing in the Cayman Islands?
So what happened was a guy contacted me online. I think I was playing somewhere else obscure, Oman or something. I played Bahrain, anywhere where there's English-speaking communities.
Yeah.
Some circuits are quite well established, like the Scandi ones.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
Scandi
yeah, yeah.
circuit's up and running. And you're only going to do 200 tickets, right?
Yeah.
But it's all where they get all the government money. You get posh flights, you get your hotel. So you end up, you won't make money, but you'll break even and you get to take your family somewhere
Yes, that's
hot.
amazing.
So when you do Cayman in 2 weeks,
So what happened
that's
was-
just like a holiday with a gig in the middle of it.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, but for tax purposes, it's a working break.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Jimmy Carr, I have to remember that one. No, someone messaged me online. I don't know where I was, and he sent me a voice note with a Manc accent saying, "I wish you could bring comedy to Cayman Islands. There's no British comedy here." And I messaged him back, and I was like, "Well, let's do it." And he owns like some fucking protein company, like, just clearly connected dude.
Yeah.
And he said, "Leave it with me." And I thought, most of the time you don't hear anything again. He came back, brand new hotel that's gone up there, Hotel Indigo, 5-star on the beach, getting better reviews than the Ritz Carlton next door. And they've got this beautiful new function room, seats 500 seats, perfect.
So you're going to do a show in there?
Doing a 500 seat on
amazing.
February
Wow.
the 15th.
That's
and
amazing.
I'm accidentally staying for 7 nights around that.
Yeah.
Cultural, one must culturally absorb all the information before you
Yeah.
can speak about it. So yeah,
It does feel like in the last, I don't know, couple of years, comedians are just doing shows way more internationally than ever
Have you ever
before.
done an international? Oh, you did.
Yeah.
Well, Did you do one in Paris?
Yeah, I've done a few. Not anything as exotic as Cayman Islands, but I've done all the Scandinavian ones, and I've been over to America a few times.
Yeah.
Done Dubai. That's a lot of people
Dubai
go
one's
there.
great. That's really well established, Dubai.
Yeah, but it does feel like you see people like Jimmy Carr doing like.
Well, he's now internationally
Gibraltar
famous.
and Malta and all of these places. I mean, I think I saw you doing Gibraltar as well.
Gibraltar's
is that right?
established though because it's
Yeah.
British. It's
Yeah.
a crown territory. But Cayman Islands, obviously, I won't sell tickets to people in the Cayman and go, "Oh my god!" But you sell based on just putting that flag. There's British
Yeah.
comedy's coming, so I'll sell. I don't know, half the room to British expats who know
Yeah.
I am, and the other half will be like, well, "There's nothing else to do. Let's go and see
Yeah,
some comedy."
yeah.
So that's how you start.
So
like rubbing a flint in a forest and starting a
Yeah.
fire. You start with seemingly nothing, and you grow it from there.
For that though, how do you then like tailor your show? Like, what do you?
Well, the show that I start after 25 minutes is
Yeah.
pretty universal.
Yeah.
I might have to tweak a few references, change a card for whatever their fucking supermarket is. But the first 15 minutes will all be improvised based on what I've observed.
So are you there
quickly?
for a few days before the
Fucking
show?
hell.
24 hours.
So you've got 24 hours to sort of
It's enough.
look
That's
around
quite
and
mental.
think.
I would
Bermuda,
be
I had
shite
15
at
minutes
that.
on Bermuda within days.
Yeah.
I got onto Bermudan TV. I was doing jokes about their potholes, a new chicken restaurant that was opening.
Chicken
Because
restaurant.
they can't. You got to remember
Yeah.
the threshold. If you live on Bermuda or in the Cayman Islands, and a British comedian arrives, and all you've got to say is that roundabout by the airport. What's that? They lose their fucking shit.
Yeah,
they can't
yeah.
believe you've taken the time to
Yeah.
be interested and not run a script.
Yeah.
A lot of comedians, not good ones, will just run the script.
Yeah.
And joke number one, I don't know. I never do that.
No.
Everything is. Reginald D. Hunter was the one that taught it to me. He was like, he calls it, you must put your feet on that actual stage.
But you have to
Yeah.
be pretty talented to do that. But do you think some comedians just aren't actually that talented? They just
No,
got good delivery.
They're just not experienced enough. Yeah, but it's like a corporate. It's the reason I do so well. The juiciest way you can earn money in this business is corporate engagements, right? And I will talk about the business and the event for at least 5 minutes, even
Yeah.
without a joke.
Yeah.
Oh, you done today? You're in packaging. I'm fascinated by packaging. What would the world be like without packaging?
Yeah.
People could make fun of your jobs
Yeah.
for being boring. I bet you thought I'm going to mock you. I bet you expected a comedian to come up here and go on the packaging awards and collect the money. Actually, packaging's amazing.
Yeah.
What would life be like without packaging? Oh, there's a tomato rolling down the street, and I just started acting it out. I just spoke about packaging.
Yeah.
So I got all of that from the packaging awards. Fuck it. Then the material.
Yeah. I think it's true though, whether it's like a tour show or a corporate, but the audience just want to know that you're like
Present.
And
you're
invested,
there.
I suppose.
You're
I
present.
think they can see when someone is just running through the motions.
Correct.
Just shame
you're slightly
someone.
dead behind the eyes.
Who's a comedian? Who
No,
does
but there
that?
are like
No successful ones. No one you would have heard
yeah,
of.
you're
Of
right.
course.
You're right.
You can't get off of the circuit.
That's why people love it when when someone heckles and you deal with the heckle, because it's like
Yeah.
they're testing that you're funny in real life, not just on the script that you brought.
And that's why I very, very, very rarely get heckled, because I'm like a bomb going off at the top, and it's all like, what's that chandelier? That person
Yeah.
there, that person's hat. They're like, shit, he can.
Do you ever think like I could just do a tour where I fuck around for
Yeah.
2 hours and I don't need any material?
I definitely could do that.
Yeah. Do you ever think does that ever make you feel like I don't need to work as hard because I know I can just fuck around?
I worry it would leave people with no takeout. So
Yeah. Because the audience would love it just as much.
probably
They'd
but-
walk away being as satisfied.
Yeah, it's a good point. But this show, like all my shows, I don't know which one you came to see with your dad, but it had like the sad ending, the one Stuart Lee made
Yeah.
fun of. And there's something to this show. Like I'm saying, it gets deep in places. It's fucking I've got stuff about why you should cut off toxic people, about why you should live every moment because you never know when you're going to die. It goes, the laughter just stops and everyone's like, what the fuck is
Yeah.
going on here? And then people cry at the end of this show. Every night there's someone in tears because of the last story that I talk about and the themes that I engage with. Harder to improvise that shit.
Yeah.
Sure you can.
Yeah.
I like to have that, like a scaffold in place and then dance around it.
Yeah. It's so great. If anyone listening has not seen Russell
We need to
on
go.
tour, he's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, well, I thank you very much. I really enjoy it.
You are genuinely, when I first started, you were like one of the few comedians I took my family to, that because my dad is not an easy person to make laugh. So when I took him to see you, you were like the first person he'd actually left and was like, oh, that was great.
Fantastic to hear, yeah.
Yeah, it was really
That's the trick when you're getting it right. Like, I looked at my audience, I just had my first 2 gigs back were at the Lowry at the weekend. The medium-sized room, 1,600, so I've got 3,200 people over 2 nights. I've had a massive gap over Christmas. Had a serious family bereavement like 3 days before, and you're like, oh, fuck. And to look out and see fucking 14-year-old, 19-year-old silver perms at the top takes years to get to the point where your audience is 14 to 80.
Yeah.
Years. When you start, everyone looks like you. They're all your age, whatever age you are, and they're the same as you. And then as you work out what's universally funny, your audience gets wider.
Yeah. Russell, I know you've done a lot of material about looking like.
I get lots of lookalikes. So I don't watch any sport due to the fact I completed my education. Yeah. But let's watch men kick a ball. Let's not. There's a library over there. So I look like this goalie. So every time, I don't even know if he still plays for Aston Villa. Emilio something.
Okay, I don't know who that is.
Me neither. That's because we're intelligent. Yeah. And so every time he plays, I get so many lookalikes.
Yeah.
It's really annoying. And do you ever get a lookalike and it's some ugly minger that
Here's
looks
Sam
fucking nothing?
Smith.
I get Roman Kemp and Sam Smith are the two.
Yeah, but they're decent lookalikes.
Sam Smith was a while ago. I don't really get
someone
that
recently
much anymore.
commented.
The one I get the most is Nick Grimshaw, formerly of Radio 1. And so I just get muddled up with him all.
Have you two got a bit of a relationship where you must bump into him at things?
We both find it hilarious.
Yeah.
But the worst, obviously I expect it when I'm in music environments.
Yeah.
So when I'm in Ibiza, it's all the fucking, like, this year I went to Ibiza twice. I go at least twice a year. And
why do you love Ibiza so much?
I just fucking love raving.
And is there other, but always Ibiza? You wouldn't go anywhere else to do that?
Where else?
Ibiza is
Have
the
you
best
done
one.
comedy? in
Go to
Ibiza?
Bali, it's just as good.
Could you combine it with the tour show and do a tour show?
I have
Ibiza?
performed in Ibiza 3 times.
Have you?
Yeah.
As like a tour show?
As a one-off at Ibiza Rocks.
Wow.
3 times.
How was that?
It was all right. It's because you needed to know what time slot to put it on at.
Yeah.
And I went with Ibiza Rocks
You went with
brand,
4 a.m.
meaning the audience were young. I went with sort of 6 p.m. I'm thinking you need them to be pissed.
Yeah.
And I think, but at least they'll be. But they weren't. They were like gurning,
Yeah,
fucking cat
yeah,
faces.
yeah.
Even at 6 p.m. I massively underestimated how early people start dabbing Mandy.
Yeah.
So it was fucking
must have
I
so
had Mandy
much-
McDabb in the front row, just like.
You must have so much material about Ibiza.
People
then.
came there to come up on drugs in a safe space. Basically. Not Ibiza Rocks. Not Ibiza Rocks, I hasten to add. This was a different gig.
Yeah.
And
What if you did like a midday? Would that work?
I think what I did wrong was I went in the wrong environment. What I should have done was gone with a big, like, TUI type hotel function room, so that people that genuinely fancied doing something a bit different at 7 p.m. would have found me.
Yeah.
Instead, I went into a space where
You
people
were
aged 18 to
getting off
30
their
already
nut.
were.
Yeah. You were at the Tiny Temper pool party.
But I've been
Doing
exactly,
stand-up.
basically. But I've been at Ocean Beach Club, and there's 2 lads. I've got an Essex accent. I wish I didn't have an Essex accent, but I do. And these lads who have my accent and just fucking look like me, orange with big teeth, have come over to me. Oh, Grimmy! Grimmy is from Oldham, right?
Yeah.
He's not a proper northerner. And I went, no, I'm not Grimmy. You fuck off, he's pretending. It's all right, mate, we won't tell him. No, I went, I'm not. And I got a picture of Grimmy up, and they're like, same, that makes it worse, because they're like same person. And then and I went, can you not hear that that my accent is the same as yours? I recognise your voice from the radio, mate, every day. So now I just do the photos as Grimmy. I was at an event once with what actually for once been invited to a corporate to eat the posh dinner and get pissed and everything. It was at Bloomsbury Square, that little event space just over there. And I was sat at a table with a few other people. I was with Lindsay, my wife, and I got a tap on the shoulder at 11 p.m. You need to do your set now. And I was like, there's no way I'm doing stand-up. I'm drunk. I've never been on stage intoxicated in my life.
Yeah.
And they were like, but you've been paid. And I'm like, dude, I'm here as a guest, like getting heated. Then I've realised they think that I'm Nick Grimshaw, who hadn't shown, not doing his stand-up set, because the decks were up above me at the table I was at. So I went round, I realised what was happening. I was like, oh, mate, you've muddled me up with Nick Grimshaw, I'm not Nick Grimshaw. There was a bit of back and forth, and they finally, I got my fucking driving license out, showed them who I was, and then everyone found it funny. And then I sat down and I went back and I was like, how much was he being paid? And then I was in the office trying to get my manager on the phone, negotiating a fee to jump up. Because I'm not being horrible to DJs. But that type of DJing I could do after a drink, you know, like that. And he's fucking turned up while I'm stealing his job.
No,
like looking nothing like, you know, like with blonde hair.
Yeah.
But literally 12 years younger than me.
You were on stage doing it.
Literally 12 years younger than me.
That's so funny.
The best is, this has happened twice. I was at the cinema. I went to watch Straight Outta Compton, right? With Lindsay. We were getting drunk in the theatre watching Straight Outta Compton, the documentary about hip-hop. And it was a late-night showing, and there's a group of girls pissed in front of us who spoilt the film a bit, actually. And we got out, and then we were waiting for a taxi, and me and Lindsay were like all cuddling and snogging and all that. And this girl came up to us, and she went, "What's this then?" and I went, and I was like, "Sorry, what? Who are you?" And she went, "My brother came out because of you, and you've been kissing her all night. What are you? Are you gay for clicks? That's gay for clicks. Is that what it is?"
Gay for clicks.
And as I went to answer, my wife, who's fucking Liam Gallagher with tits, she's a man. She just went, "Number one, he's not who you think he is. And number two, what business of yours would it be? What his sexuality is? How dare you?" It's like, and another time, I was out with Lindsay. It was when we were first dating, actually snogging at a beach party, and someone peeled my shoulder off. Same thing. My brother's gay, you're his idol. What the fuck is this? They'd filmed it thinking it was a big exposure they could send to the Daily Mail.
That's so
funny. Hetero shamed, but
wow.
I get loads of homophobic abuse.
Really?
Yeah, loads. Because people, even when they know who I am, they assume I'm a Neil Gaiman.
Do you find maybe this was more when you first started stand up, but because your sort of appearance on stage used to be way more sort of, you used to have like that stripe in your hair, and you used to wear like quite out there clothes. Yeah. So did you ever find when you started that just walking on stage, a lot of men in the audience would go, "I'm not into this"?
But that's who I really am. So before I did stand-up, amongst my friends, when we were like raving in Ibiza and club, bearing in mind I'm a peasant from a council estate, so to express yourself was extremely risky.
Yeah.
I would have, like blue spikes, leopard skin jacket, topless, tiny pair of shorts. That's my character. I love showing off.
Yeah.
When I started stand-up, because I was working in an ad agency by day, I was dressed in normal clothes by night. Yeah. But as soon as I got a bit of successful, I can go back to expressing myself. I looked at Noel Fielding. I looked at Russell Brand. I thought it's obviously permitted. Yeah. It's not permitted. Yeah. I was wrong. Yeah. I was judged and talked about. Look, why are you dressing like that for? Why you got to show off with eyeliner? Oh, I thought you were a normal stand-up. Of all the businesses I could have worked in, where I thought you would be judged for expressing yourself physically, I was shocked to discover that if you are a straight stand-up, you better fucking dress normal.
So were you getting that criticism from other comedians or from audiences?
Subsequently, I found out, a friend of mine told me, and also from audiences, like you said, the blokes who initially followed me in my very, very early success when I was still working my day job. Yeah, someone actually came up to me and going, "Why are you?" Like, someone said to me, "You're a great comedian, Russell. Yeah, why are you dressing like that? Why are you wearing eyeliner? Why are you doing all that camp shit?" That's what he said to me. Yeah. And I was like, "Am I doing something wrong? Like, I want to put, that's my idea. I want to put a spike in my," and I learned the hard way. Yeah. Don't fucking express yourself if you're a straight man. Dress a certain way. Toe the line.
So why do you think Noel Fielding and Russell Brand get away with it or got away with it?
Because it suited their, I am airy fairy, whereas I'm this is my dad. Yeah. I'm a lad. This is my missus. I come from a dead normal family. You better.
I suppose like Russell Brand kind of walked that line of like a sort of, I know he's not from Essex, but he is from Essex, isn't he?
Yeah, but
Essex geezer,
his material was very mysterious and surreal, like he was a wizard master. Yeah. So the dress matched the look. Yeah. Whereas I am. So my nan, in the council flat I grew up, and I've got a spike and eyeliner. Yeah. So my good friend who took me aside and told me what's happening said, "People find you now inauthentic, like you're pretending to be someone else." Whereas really what had happened was I was able to be myself because I didn't have to do the day job anymore. So then I met Lindsay, my future wife, who was in the front row of my gig, which was fine. 12 years ago, but that would be problematic now.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got the mic and you've used your fame to intoxicate her frail female mind. There's no... But 12 years ago, get in a van, married. She took me aside and she went, "You're a good-looking lad. I do like you, but here's a bit of advice. People think you look like a bit of a twat. Go do experiment dressing normally." I left my management because I couldn't understand why they'd not told me. I joined another management who were renowned for putting everyone in suits and dressing normally. And I said to that manager, "I want to be managed what I wear. Tell me what to wear." So every job I do now, not things like today, I'm in relatively risky clothes for me. I've dressed a bit funky, but if I'm on TV, it's quite conservative.
Do you still wear suits on stage?
If it's a corporate gig.
Not a tour show, you wouldn't wear a suit?
I wear black shoes, black trousers, white t-shirt.
Yeah.
Very, very... wouldn't remember what I was wearing.
Yeah.
Out of choice now, though, what would you choose to wear?
Today, I would say I'm a vest, I've got chains on, I've got a shirt that's open.
Yeah.
For a man of my age, I've got my Gen Z baggy trousers on. It would be... I don't dress like my mates who are old men, you know.
Yeah. It is interesting, though, that idea that, like, the comedians that, like, look perfect for what their persona is, right?
Yeah, it's important. I didn't realise. I just thought, I'm in the arts now. I can be whatever I want. Not the fucking case, actually.
Yeah.
But it's weird because we all talk about how to express yourself if you're non-binary, or if you're gay or trans, but no one talks about the inability of straight men and the rules that are placed upon them and how they express themselves sartorially, and that there's consequences with that. It's not discussed. And if you
so true,
and if you
actually.
dare discuss it, you're seen as being an ingracious white male with all the privilege. But the problem is, if you don't discuss these power structures across all forms of race, class and gender identity, you won't solve the problems in all aspects of it.
Yeah.
So, for example, we can't have a conversation about feminism without talking about what's wrong with men. But if you talk about what's wrong with men, you sound like, "Oh, what's wrong? Men have raped everything for 4,000 years. Shut the fuck up and continue to kill yourselves 7 times more than women." Well, actually, we need to sort of solve what's wrong with men at the same time.
Yeah.
And just my inkling is feminism will be able to complete its journey to equality if we fucking sort out the apes, us, the men, at the same time. Thoughtful
Love
day.
that. Love that.
More than
Love
just
that.
a comedian.
What a great way to wrap up part 1.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to come back to part 2. We've got some listener dilemmas and
some unpopular
opinions.
Ooh, lovely.
Russell. Welcome back to part 2 of Private Parts with me, Tom Lucy.
And me, Liv Bentley.
And our very special guest, Russell Kane.
Yes.
Russell. We've got some unpopular opinions here
Okay.
to run through with you.
We do a segment where we talk about unpopular opinions.
Ooh. Yes.
And this week, we have got influencers on TikTok waving their hands about and tapping products. So
This is one of yours, isn't
I
it?
hate that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you noticed, but influencers do this when they're talking about stuff and tap the products relentlessly.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
It's fucking irritating.
It's normally when they're doing makeup tutorials, they pick up a product and they tap it while they're talking about it with long nails.
Yeah.
What else do influencers do that are irritating?
Quite a few things.
Oh, just lie about jobs, actually.
Yeah.
I've been influenced by people and I know they've been paid loads of money and they're selling shit.
Yeah.
Which I find irritating.
Yeah.
I actually text them someone saying, "Is it worth it?" And they go, "No, it's crap."
Yeah.
It's outrageous. It's not great.
Do you
is
get,
it?
Russell, do you get approached to plug things on Instagram?
Never. Never,
Is that
ever.
because
I
people
think it's
think you
harder for
won't do
boys.
it?
I think... How do I phrase this?
It can't
I think comedians have a reputation of being quite expensive.
Yeah.
So I think they don't bother.
They don't bother.
It's not like... one of the worst things that ever...
Are there some brands that you would promote?
I'll tell you, one of the worst things that ever happened to me was where someone thought I'd been paid to promote something and I hadn't.
Yeah.
So I used to go to this nightclub in Covent Garden called Jewel. I don't even know if it's still there.
Okay.
It's like you go after a gig, Jewel, it's Jew, and the promoter would always look after me and put me on an amazing table. I get off stage.
Right.
It was great. And I went in and he went, "Can you do me a favour?" He went, "Can you just do a picture with a thumbs up of a watch brand on it? Because I'm known for loving watches. It's how I got myself out of the ghetto. I saved up, put myself through uni because I used to sell watches on Bond Street."
Right.
I had a drink and I was like, "No problem." Did a thumbs up. What's the consequence?
Yeah.
Okay, so technically I've been given a free table in a club for doing a picture, but I didn't know anything about that. I was fucking barely even on telly at this point.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was part of an expose to entrap celebs into promoting a fake product to show what idiots they were.
Wow.
So he was the one being entrapped, not me.
Yeah.
And he was promoting a watch that runs back to front. I hadn't even looked at the picture. And it was a Dispatches documentary.
Wow.
And he was caught on a phone call saying, I can get Russell Kane to do a picture of this watch for 500 quid. Can you imagine? It's not even lunch, Liv. And the shame of thinking I was doing like grotty posts for 500 quid.
That's so
and they said, do you want to defend... What was the company called? Matchlight Productions, you bellends, right? I knew nothing about it. Didn't want to sue them and make a fuss. I thought, just go quiet.
Yeah.
And they said, do you want to comment on camera? And I said, only if it's live, where I can't be edited. I can't do that. So I sent a statement in saying I sold watches my whole life. I told you exactly what had happened as it happened. And they got a voiceover to read it out. Right?
Wow.
And they went, Russell Kane sent a statement. I sold watches my whole life. And they got, they got like a thick, like Essex twat to read it out. It's not that I'm against it.
There are some, like you and Lindsay have a what is it, supplement company that you...
We've got an anti-aging supplement.
Yeah.
You'll notice we don't use many influencers.
No.
We don't.
The only people I see plugging that are you and Lindsay.
Yeah,
Is
or genuine, whose names I cannot divulge because they're genuine customers who then go on to post about it. Big people. I mean, there's some makeup artists have taken it out to America. I wish I could name drop, but these people are taking it for real.
Yeah.
So what happened was, about 15 years ago, when I started to get big in stand-up, and on my act, if you've not seen me live, Liv, it's very, very energetic. Yeah. And I thought, shit, I've started my career late for various reasons. So my background, come from a poor background. It takes you a while to find what you want to do when you're poor. Because my daughter's growing up posh, right? So she gets everything presented to her on a Yo Sushi. How about violin? No, thank you. French? Yeah, I'll try that. Karate? Why not? Lacrosse? Yeah. You get to try lots of different things when you're privileged, like my daughter. But when you're working class, your mum and dad go to work, and that's it. You don't try French or piano or fucking anything. You don't try anything. You just get through it. Yeah. So I'm thought of 30 before I do my first gig. I'm like, shit, I'm too old.
Is that when you did your first ever gig?
28. And I was like, I'm too old. So I started to get interested in how I could slow down aging. With the stuff, the free stuff, first of all, diet and exercise, sleep, stress, good relationships. That's open to everyone. And then I started to look at evidence-based supplementation. What actually works when you take it on a cellular level, proved in a clinical trial. So I started to build up this fucking massive cupboard till I was a bit of a nerd. And then people would ask me, like yourselves, and then they would glaze over if I listed what I took. Yeah. So I just thought, fuck it. And all my friends and most comics, like, I'll leave it out. Can't make yourself snake oil. Can't do it. As the years have gone on, and I've done interviews with people that don't know how old I am. People are like, so how old? So what are you? No Botox, no filler. I've got on my face is completely as I was born, apart from one tooth which I fucking injured. Right, everything is mine. And they were like, what is it you're taking? So I went on this Stephen Bartlett podcast, and my wife noticed people want to do what you're doing, but they can't be fucked. She said, so what are your top 7? And I'm going to make a once a day anti-aging supplement. And to be fair to her, with a small loan, she went off and created that brand, Jolt. She's just turned over, I don't know if I should say, but it's doing well.
So what is it? It's one tablet you take?
Three tablets once a day. Yeah, Jolt. But if you're not doing diet and exercise and sorting your life out, you can't like eat a Burger King and have 4 hours sleep and take a magic pill. Yeah. But if you're doing the other stuff, it will optimize anti-aging.
It's interesting because the industry that we're in, comedy, is full of a lot of people who are living very unhealthy. Yeah. It doesn't take much in comedy, I think, to stand out as someone who looks after themselves. Yeah. Because most people are not really, are they?
You've got to get past the serious digits before people start to be impressed. So you've got to go surgery-free past serious digits. Otherwise, what you're doing is bullshit.
What do you mean by serious digits?
You've got to get way past 40.
Right, okay.
With no Botox, no filler.
Yeah.
And then... And also, not just that, so how you look. We shouldn't focus on how we look, actually. It's unfair. It's more about how you feel and the energy you putting across.
Yeah.
Do you think as comedians your like mental health struggles ever?
Yeah.
Because they say that, don't they? That's
we're in the same life insurance group as stuntman, soldier, and scaffolder.
Really?
Yeah. Really hard to get. Have you got life insurance?
I don't know.
It's fucking hard. Good luck.
That probably means I haven't. No.
We have extremely high death rate. Driving, addiction, suicide. It's off the charts for stand up.
Keep yourself like zen.
I do. I just work on. I just work on everything all the time.
Yeah.
I read. I continue to expand my mind. I didn't. I'm a little bit older as a dad because I didn't settle for a relationship that wasn't right.
Yeah.
And me and Lindsay are really fucking into each other. I don't want to make you vomit, but we are. I don't want to go a bit Wallacey in it. She's so fucking.
I so
Can't
loose.
stop shagging my young wife. Who wants a flan? And no, but we are. We're very healthy. We're sexually healthy. Our intimacy's healthy. Our romance is healthy.
Yeah.
That goes for a lot, man. Are you happy? Are you actually fucking happy? When was the last time you asked yourself that? When you got the courage to ask yourself that, then it becomes a mechanical job of, okay, well, what is it that's making you unhappy? And you just take it slice by slice and fix it. If you're past 30 or even 28 and you're not exercising 5 days a week, you will at some stage be fucked up.
Yeah.
And it's all linked, mental health, physical health. So when I turn 50 in August, I'm going to be on the dance floor in Ibiza. I'm going to be popping at least 8 abs. And I'm going to have the fucking...
I thought you were going to say pingers. I was like, that's punchy.
Yeah, and the rest.
Why does everyone online think they are a self-help guru when most of them still live at home with their parents and don't even wash their hands after the toilet? Apparently, this is something you posted on Instagram recently.
Don't remember posting that. Did I post that?
Do you have an issue with self-help gurus online?
Not really, because
You seem like someone who's quite into self-help.
I mean, I sort of already, during this talk, I'd like to think there's some bits of it people will get stuff from, but it comes from actual life experience.
Yeah.
What I can't bear is the type of person you've described hasn't actually climbed any mountains. They've just got a royalty-free diddly 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 track. If you try hard and fail, so what? Just try again.
The problem is it's such a massive industry now, isn't it? People talking about how to be healthier, podcasts about how to better yourself. So it's the barrier to entry for that is quite easy, I think.
And also,
now,
it's not the work. If you read a square with a motivational statement with some music behind it, that isn't the work.
Yeah.
The work is living it for 5 years with the square on your wall. So how many squares can you actually juggle? 3 or 4. So we're in this sort of Instagram square culture. Full stop. Quote for the day. Fuck off. Where's the proof, cunt?
Yeah.
Where's the proof, cunt?
Yeah. Where's the proof?
I come from fucking a council house.
Yeah.
I got a first in English. I fucking had to climb unimaginable social hurdles to get where I am. And now I get labelled as a white bloke who shouldn't have the shit I've fought for. There's so much complex shit that I've had to fight through. So I'm well within my right to talk about how I fought those things.
Have you thought about writing a self-help style book?
Yeah, I have actually.
I think you'd be very good at that.
Yeah, I think...
Do you know what the space I would love to occupy is what is the reflection of the Andrew Tate space? Because men are very lost at the moment, right? Our suicide rate's 7 times higher. Misogyny's on the rise. Women don't feel safe. All the creepy sex shit we see in the news. So there's something going wrong with men where we don't feel masculine enough, but then we're acting out behaviours that are, dick in the hand, wrong type of masculinity. And into that space has poured the Andrew Tates of this world. Yeah, women are fucking bitches, man. Put her in your Lambo and do her in the ass and all
it's
that
just like
stuff.
that group you were talking about last week.
Incels.
Say again?
Incels.
Yeah.
Incels.
Yeah.
Yeah, mans that can't get no pussy in it.
Yeah.
Them man. Them man.
Yeah. But it's true though. It's a whole thing now, isn't it?
So
there's a lot of angry.
But there's no one in the other space telling like what healthy masculinity is in a non-wanky, non-American-y way. I would love to, in a no-nonsense, lived experience way. My wife wants me to do that. She's desperate for me to switch the camera on and speak earnestly, but I just...
What's holding you back from doing that?
I just want to be funny more.
Yeah.
But you know how you said in your show you do like a touching bit at the end when people get upset?
Yeah, that's live.
Would you ever mention something around
I
any
do,
of that?
all the
Do
time.
you?
I do. I have a bit in the show at the moment I say to people, life is too short, right? You can't change. My biggest lesson I've had to learn, this is an Instagram square, but you got to live it. You can't change what happens to you. You can change your reaction to it. Instagram square doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
If you want to know what that means, go to a hospice or someone that works in oncology and see 2 people that are both going to die in the same way on the same day. You'll still see completely different reactions. One's like, I know I'm going to be dead in a year, but I'm going around the world, I'm traveling. The other one's like, oh, of course, my life's been shit, now my death's shit. So even the ultimate thing you cannot change, 2 different reactions.
Yeah.
So you're going to tell me there wasn't a choice to some of the shit that's happened to you, some breakup, some business that's not worked out. And that continues into friendships, right? Why are we hanging around with people who don't fucking like us? Like, why? I know we have to work with them. Afternoon, guys. But, no, but seriously, you'll go out with a group of friends, and you know when you leave the room, that bitch is slagging you off.
Yeah.
I've been friends since we were 16. There's nothing I can... Like, fucking sort your life out, man. You're going to be 90 soon. You're wasting your shit on a toxic drain that doesn't even like you. 4.5 billion years old, this earth. Hundreds of millions of sperm. The odds of us being sat here is tiny, and you're giving away your energy to someone that doesn't like you. Cut them off. Right? And it's okay for you, it's family. What if it's a brother? Easy, watch. Bye, cunt. Yeah. Done.
Liv's going through this.
but don't waste your time. So they're the types of
so
things.
Are you quite in
You would be such a good, like,
you would.
doing like TED Talks or something.
That I am, and I've just started doing my first keynote speeches. I talk about resilience, where it's funny. It's still me being funny. But there's no swearing. It's like.
But I'm not. I would be interested in something where you're not even funny. You're just talking about that.
But there's laughs in it.
Yeah.
But it's a keynote speech about resilience. I've got about why people under 30 are struggling with anxiety, where we've gone wrong, why all this stuff's on the rise, and getting to the cultural root of these issues through what I've learned. You know, I am older, but I'm living a younger person's life, so it's the best mix.
So are you quite, I don't mean this in a negative way, are you quite cutthroat with relationships and people around you? Do you have a very small circle of people?
I don't need to be cutthroat because it's something I realise I've done automatically.
Right.
If you look on my WhatsApp, it's boys group is the most recent friend is when I was 16. The ages I've met them are 5, 8 and 11 and 16.
Okay.
And my friends and my social group is my family.
Yeah.
So I'm not got myself trapped in situations where my friends are people I don't like.
Right.
I'm not like, you've wronged me, cut you off.
Right.
It's more that I've cultivated healthy relationships over a long period of time.
Yeah.
That's the key.
But but if you had a friend who you felt was not adding anything to your life,
depends. What are they struggling? Is it someone that's divorcing? Is there temporary issues? Is it someone that fucking I can tell dislikes me, is jealous of me? You know, when you go to the gym and there's a friend who doesn't like it, or you fall in love, you get a new boyfriend, and there's a girl that's like, live it, not our friend now, live now, you've got a man. That ain't your friend. Your real friends are fucking happy for you.
That's what people say when something good happens to you. It's very revealing of your friends.
Fair weather
they're
friends.
happy for you or not.
There's two types of fake friends. Fair weather friends who just hang around when you're rich and everything's great and then fuck off when you need them. And bad weather friends. The ones that only, you split up, have you? I'll come, I haven't fucked you for 5 years. Yeah, let's cry together.
Feed off it.
You eat junk food with me now. Let's both put weight on telly. Let's both be
so true.
They're bad weather friends.
Yeah.
So look out. Your friends are friends, mate. They're there, whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's such a turning point. It's when you hit sort of 30 that I think all that stuff you start reevaluating. Yeah.
Because Liv turned 30 fairly recently. Do you think you're in...
I think when I hit 29, I changed a lot of things. The people I was hanging out with. Like, I used to party a lot, and that group of people, when I was going through shit time, they would be the ones wanting me to party, not realising I was actually in the shit.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that you just drop them.
Friendship is an exchange. It's a sort of love, isn't it? It's a platonic love. And if it's one way, it's toxic.
Yeah.
Is that the same for relationships as well?
Definitely. My wife says there's two types of people. There's what she say, drains and radiators. You know, straight away when you're in the room with a drain, you will have to interview some of them, unfortunately, on here. You know, the energy in the room is it goes down. But when you're with a radiator, it goes up. Yeah. Oh, what you do? Oh, tell me more about it. It's exciting. You want to speak to each other. Surround yourself with radiators.
Okay, so here we have had a dilemma.
Okay.
My boyfriend got so drunk at my family do in front of my older parents, sisters and their boyfriends. He ended up telling my sister's boyfriend to fuck off when he innocently tried to stop him pouring any more red... Sorry. I'm going to start again. He ended up telling my sister's boyfriend to fuck off when he innocently tried to stop him pouring any more red wine. He was a bottle down. To make it worse, rather than apologise, he then doubled down and called everyone fucking boring and walked out the house, only to have to ring the doorbell 10 minutes later when he remembered he didn't have his coat. He's not invited to family dues from now on, obviously. Has anyone ever done this?
See, there's someone who's cutthroat with relationships.
I mean, if ever I had received a description of legend, all he needs to do in that situation is apologise.
Yeah.
He literally just needs to go round to the guy who went, I was drunk, I'm really sorry, will you shake my hand? Go to the mum or mother-in-law.
Say, give me a kiss.
It's really underrated the power of, have you got people that don't apologise?
Yes.
It fucking winds me
But it's
up.
always the same people.
Yeah.
Even when they're
We talked about this the other
wrong.
day. We were saying the power of calling someone
and seeing someone
saying,
face to face.
I'm really sorry I can't make tonight. It's a small example, but 9 out of 10 people won't do that.
It's not a small example. It's or you can work with someone and can you remember to get my case from the hotel? Oh, I forgot. I need my case though. I forgot. I'll fetch it in a bit. Sorry, cunt. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, if I push a door the wrong way, I'm apologising.
Yeah.
Why won't you say sorry?
Yeah.
It shouldn't mean it as much as it does, but it does. It's just
It does mean a lot.
Why do some people never apologise?
Should we just start telling them to?
Do you know what
Is it because
I
they
do
genuinely
sometimes?
think they haven't done anything
Or
wrong?
people that don't say thank you. So do you know what I do for people that don't say thank you? They're normally the same ones that don't say thank you.
Yeah.
I say you're welcome and in the imagined thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Yeah, that's good.
Or
I remember I used to do that
go,
to
seriously,
teachers.
mate, don't apologise, it's fine.
Yeah.
And they're like, do you know?
I think this is the only way it's going to change it. We just have to call them out for it.
That's so funny.
But that's all that dilemma is just male ego, I'm afraid. Yeah.
Russell, thank you so much for doing this.
Pleasure.
You're on tour until December.
Yeah, but then I will extend. Do you have listeners in other countries? I'm assuming you do.
I'm not sure,
I
actually.
definitely plan to extend to
Cayman Islands will have a
Cayman
few.
Islands, Australia. Yeah, there'd be fucking loads. Won't there?
I'll see you
There's
there.
cousin Monty, big Ollie, little Ollie, medium-sized Ollie, and big Monty.
Monty.
Monty, Ollie, Monty, and
Yeah.
Monty. No, I'm playing obviously on tour, so this leg's a bit busy. But go to russellkane.co.uk because I'm still adding ones from September to December. There'll be international stuff.
Russell is genuinely one of the best stand-ups I've ever seen.
Tom, come on, man.
He's
And
so fucking funny.
Radio 4's Evil Genius is currently running. It's a brand new series. We take someone from history and then cancel or keep them. The TV series is just up as well on Sky or Now TV or wherever you get your Sky content. And I wish I could talk about this excited scripted project, but I don't want to jinx it. So there's other stuff coming.
Is this the gay Glaswegian jewelry
No, it's
dealer?
not. This time I will be playing a straight
And the
version
book,
of myself.
the
Oh yeah,
kids'
Pet Selector for 7 to 11-year-olds. That's obviously still out, and there's a picture book coming as well following next year for younger readers.
And then Surf Up.
And then I don't know.
I really think you
I
should do
honestly,
that.
yeah.
Maybe it's something like for your later years.
I just worried that when I put it on, people are like, "That wasn't funny. What are you doing?" You know, it'd be confusing for people.
Yeah.
I don't know. The same and Strictly later years as well. I keep saying no to Strictly, but it's going to happen, isn't it?
Yeah. I can't wait.
Eventually.
For that. Russell, thank you so much
Thank
for doing
you so
this.
much.
Russell Kane.
Right. Let's go for a spit roast. You're not allowed to say that anymore, are you?